Every video game has some sort of protagonist, and Assassin's Creed Mirage is of course no different. In Assassin's Creed Mirage, we'll be playing as Basim, and in this video we'll be going over everything we know about him, including his previous life before Assassin's Creed Mirage takes place, and where we might have actually seen him before. So let's get straight into the video, but just before that I do just want to say that some of the pronunciation of some places in this video might be quite poor, and that's because some of these places aren't mentioned within the games. This is just part of the game's lore, so I do apologise if some of the pronunciation isn't great, but I'm trying to make this video as clear as I possibly can, but it should still be very easy to understand. So let's waste no more time and let's get straight into it. Now, Basim was born in the year 835 in Samarra, a city in Iraq, which stands on the east bank of Tigris in the Saladin Governorate. During the medieval period, it served as the capital of the Abbasid. Basim was the son of an architect who was responsible for the construction of the Great Mosque of Samarra. For a while, this mosque was actually the largest in the world, a spiraling cone 52 meters high and 33 meters wide. Unfortunately, Basim's father was later exiled and died in poverty after someone took credit for his work. His mother also died whilst Basim was still very young, but her cause of death actually still remains unknown. So when Basim was growing up, these deaths led to him actually growing up as an orphan in the streets of Baghdad, the capital of Iraq and the former capital of the Abbasid. Baghdad is also the city in which Assassin's Creed Mirage takes place. AC Mirage is taking a turn from recent Assassin's Creed games and is going back to the classic Assassin's Creed style, which is a smaller world but more dense and alive. Baghdad is absolutely perfect for this. During the Abbasid period, it was one of the foremost cultural, intellectual and economic centers of the world, preceding over the Islamic Golden Age. During Basim's childhood, he was a frequent visitor of the city's House of Wisdom, a popular library within Baghdad. During one of Basim's visits to the House of Wisdom, he met the renowned astronomer Muhammad ibn Misa, a Persian polymath who had produced works in mathematics, astronomy and geography. Basim described him as kind and very open-hearted. Now, Basim was also the inheritor of the memories of Loki, an Isu who used Drasil to seed his genetic code into humanity's gene pool to circumvent the great catastrophe that destroys the first civilization. His goal was to be reunited with his lover, Alethea, whose consciousness was preserved within the Staff of Hermes. At the young age of 17, Basim had already begun making a living as a street thief. Although Basim struggled with nightmarish visions of the Jinn as a consequence of Loki's consciousness manifesting within his mind, it didn't take long for Basim to fail a theft. Basim was rescued from being captured by the Master Assassin, Roshan, a former slave hidden one who attains the rank of Master Assassin based at the stronghold of Alamu. Roshan ended up recruiting Basim into the Brotherhood and became his mentor, an honorific title given to leaders of the Assassin Brotherhood who had attained an extraordinary amount of skill and wisdom, and used these skills to tutor aspiring apprentices such as Basim at the time. After a while, Basim became a Master Assassin, but unfortunately began to suffer from manic episodes, once again due to Loki's increasing influence. After an intense but brief struggle to reconcile his memories and Loki's, Basim became fully aware and reached a mutual understanding with his past life. And now we're up to Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is in 861, the beginning of the game. Set in 9th century Baghdad, Assassin's Creed Mirage has us playing as Basim as the main protagonist, and joining him on his journey as he continues his life as an assassin. Basim is a bit different to other characters we have played as in the Assassin's Creed series. Basim is a faster and more agile character. This means that Basim is faster when it comes to parkour. He's able to jump up buildings and climb over walls at a much faster pace compared to previous characters in the series such as Ezio and Eivor. This could actually have a significant impact on the gameplay of the game, as the parkour system and general movement could change and feel faster in all aspects. Basim wore the standard attire of the Hidden Ones and was generally seen as a strong assassin, but something outstanding he carries in his values of loyalty and kindness. This is something we can expect to see throughout Assassin's Creed Mirage. When it comes to Basim in Mirage, it isn't where his journey ends. After the life of Assassin's Creed Mirage, Basim actually continues on. So later in life, in 867, after the events of Assassin's Creed Mirage, Basim and the Acolyte Hytham. Acolyte was a title used by the Hidden Ones, slightly below those of Master and Mentor. Basim and Hytham travelled to foil an assassination assassination plot by the newly installed Emperor Basil. Basil was originally a peasant from the Theme of Macedonia. Basil entered the court of Michael III and eventually rose in both influence and power, leading him to become emperor and plot an assassination against his own son. 3 years later, Basim was dispatched to fight against the Order of the Ancients in Northern Europe, with Hytham assigned by mentor Rayhan as his apprentice. During this time, they were stationed in the capital of Constantinople. At this point, Basim served as the borough leader. Basim travelled to Antioch with Hytham. Antioch is the city in south of Turkey, close to Oros River. Their aim was to fight the Snake Eaters, a new faction of the Order of the Ancients, taking control of the city. However, the Antioch Borough, a guild of assassins located within the Levant and leaving branch of the Order during the Crusader era, was decimated by this conflict, and Basim actually sent letters to his brothers requesting reinforcements. An old friend of Basim, Mahort, a member of the Frankish Hidden Ones, sent 2 of her acolytes, Matthias and Oisil. Eventually, Basim and the Hidden Ones successfully drove the Snake Eaters away from Antioch. As he had matters to attend back in Constantinople, Basim left with his apprentice and sent the 6 other assassins after the Snake Eaters' leadership on the Silk Road, a network of trade routes that linked together Eastern and Western civilizations across the greater Eurasian continent and northeastern Africa. A while after, a fellow Hidden One informed him of Ammon's mission in Bulgar and his death. Disappointed in the acolyte's death, his interest was piqued when the Hidden One told Basim of a Norseman with a mark on his neck. He then set out to meet the Norse and learned his identity was Sigurd. Basim and Hytham befriended Sigurd and agreed to join him in his return to Norway. So now we're up to the events of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yes, Assassin's Creed Mirage is set before Valhalla, and Basim features in both of those games. Of course, within Assassin's Creed Mirage, he is the main protagonist that you do play as, and in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, whilst he is one of the main characters, you don't actually play as him, as you play as Eivor, but you do still see him a fair bit within Assassin's Creed Valhalla as well, which is set, after Mirage. So this does bring us up to the beginning of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Basim and Hytham arrive in Thornburg with Sigurd. Here, they meet and held a feast that night to commemorate Sigurd's return. Eivor later receives a gift from Sigurd, Ammon's hidden blade. Hytham opposed this, but Basim stepped in and allowed it. The group then stepped out of the longhouse onto a training ground to train Eivor in the use of the weapon. Along the way, Basim provided more introduction of the Hidden Ones, creed and values to Eivor. At the training ground, Basim taught Eivor the various ways of assassinating a target with a hidden blade, which we see within Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So then, in 877, we reach the end of Basim's journey. Eivor and Sigurd travel away. There they find an ancient issue ruin containing Yggdrasil, an Anemus-like supercomputer. Consumed by Loki's memories, Basim attacks them. Eivor, herself a reincarnation of Odin, won the fight, and Basim was trapped within the device. And there we have it. That is the complete story of the Assassin's Creed Mirage protagonist, Basim, and that is everything you really need to know about him, to be honest, since that's everything we do know about him. That's his entire story. We followed him all the way from birth to the events of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and soon we'll be able to experience his part of the journey within Assassin's Creed Mirage, and that does just about wrap up things here. Now, on screen now, you're seeing a link to a video where I go over everything we know about Assassin's Creed Mirage. If you're interested in watching that, then hit the link on the screen, and you can go ahead and join me over there.